Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sessions with Coach April, where real conversations meet real solutions. I'm one of your hosts, April Hogan.
And I'm your other host, Cass Wolford.
So today we're centering on the self care CEO, why rest and wellness are the smartest business strategy. So before we get into that, I always have to check on you, Cass. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm sore.
No.
Sore. We had a multiple workout day yesterday. She's trying to kill me. So we are very, very sore today.
Yeah, we did some miles in the morning, some dancing in the afternoon. And yeah, I'm proud of us though. We did a really good
Yeah. And
job.
we've been eating good. So we're sticking to it.
And we're leaving after this to go do some more walking by the
Yeah.
beach, which is lovely. So
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I sore, the same
Yeah.
sore, slightly irritated. You know, I'm not even gonna talk about it here. I'm just gonna leave it.
We'll talk about it when we walk in.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh my gosh, so I got some stuff. Y'all been hearing me holler through the office all morning about. Okay, anyway, so let's begin by challenging the hustle culture myth. Okay, so why is self care not just personal but also a business strategy?
For me, it's because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you aren't taking care of yourself, how do you have energy left to take care of your business or your family or anything else? So it's definitely not personal. You need time to rest and recharge your batteries, to rejuvenate, to refresh your mind, all that type of stuff. So self care isn't just something that people say when they want a day off. It's really important so you can grow your business. If you're not thinking clearly, you're not thinking from a place of I don't want to say rest, but I don't know. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but from a new mindset, from a rested mindset, you can't be innovative. You know what I'm saying? You're constantly burnt out and you're not thinking on all cylinders. So that's why I think it's important.
So I definitely do not like the word hustle and grind. I have for a while, and anyone who's heard me speak prior, I generally talk about those words because when you think of the word grind, think of like grinding teeth together or like grinding something down, or hustle. It's like hustle, right? Like, and typically, if you're working in your purpose, it doesn't feel like a hustle. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like a grind. It just comes naturally. So, first of all, I'm just going to want to remove that whole concept of grind and then mimic removing the whole concept of hustle, because when you're walking in your purpose, you love what you do, it doesn't feel like a grind, it doesn't really feel like a hustle. So with that being said, rest is important. Let's talk about the Bible without going to biblical. Even God rested and he didn't have to rest,
Yeah.
so he was showing principles that we now need to mirror. So that, I love the fact that you said the whole thought of like that rest helps you renew your mindset. And I know that's something where I have to at times force myself to do, because since my job or my work or my career does not feel like work, oftentimes I have to remind myself, like, dude, put it down. Like,
Yeah.
you need to put it down for a minute. And then when I do take that time to put it down, I tend to feel so much better and come up with so much more. So then the next day, it's like I'm on 1,000. So you really can't take care of other people and other things if you don't take care of yourself. And if you don't take a moment to rest, then you're running into the issue of burnout, right? And that's what we don't want.
Yeah. The only pushback I have for that is that because I know there are some of our viewers who are still trying to find their purpose. Like there are still people who are working 9 to 5s that they hate. They're like, this is fueling my purpose to get to, you know what I'm saying, that next step where I can walk in my purpose. So I understand, like, for somebody like you who found your purpose and you're like, this doesn't feel like a grind or a hustle. There are people out there who are like, yeah, my 9 to 5 is a grind and a hustle. Like it's hard. And then I'm trying to go home and find the energy to. So that's another reason why you need that rest, because you're still doing something that you really don't want to do, that you're trying to get out of to walk in your purpose. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to come and then you have to get energy to go into your purpose and what it's like, but I can't afford to do this full time right now. So it does kind of feel like you're still running that rat race and trying to accomplish two things at once. So I
Yeah,
get,
yeah.
yeah.
So I guess my part, I don't want to dive into that too much, but my part is if you're not following your purpose, I'm still not grinding and hustling towards somebody else's. Instead, I'm going to give enough to maintain, get ahead, right?
Yeah.
Stay relevant in that field because this is where I'm at for the time being. But I'm damn sure not about to hustle and grind for somebody else's purpose, right?
Right.
So if I add a little bit of hustle and grind, that little bit of hustle and grind is going to be what I have to do after work to now figure out
Mhm.
what I'm really supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
So I still hate those words
Yeah.
because it's like you're almost like you're putting in so much effort to where now you are going to burn out. And that's not saying if you're working in a situation that you're like, hey, this is just how I make ends meet, that you don't give your all. But there's a level of all that you give, because then you're never going to actually be able to give
Yeah.
all to what you're actually supposed to be doing. So I still
Mhm.
don't feel like those words should be a part of something that's not your purpose. I feel
Right.
like, if anything, hey, I work hard, but I'm not grinding and hustling.
Right.
Like, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that makes sense. So how do we reframe self-care so it feels necessary but not selfish?
So it kind of like what we were talking about already. It is necessary,
Mhm.
because if I am so burned out, so tired, to the point that I'm making myself sick, or I can't even fully show up in a situation, then I'm not taking care of me, so I can't take care of you. That's like being a mom or being a dad, or being a helper for somebody. If you want me to show up in a way that's actually helpful, I
Mhm.
have to be in a space to be able to help. It's like having a 1,000 pound weight, but I only physically can pick up 50,
Yeah.
right? But then I've struggled so hard to pick this up that I can't even pick up my 50, right? So
Mhm.
like you have to be in a space to where understanding that self-care is not selfish, because that's how you are able to show up for other people. If you don't show up for you first, you aren't even able to help anybody else. So that's my thought on it. What about you?
I think that the most important thing is recognizing that it's a boundary, right? Nobody's saying self-care means I'm taking 2 weeks off to go sail around the world and I'm going to be completely unreachable. It just means I'm setting a boundary. It means like after a certain time, I need to disconnect. So if that means that my hours stop at 5 o'clock, like Big Red said, my hours are from 9 to 5. If that means I got to stop at 5 and you can't reach me no more, I'm not answering any more questions until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. You have to be okay with setting those boundaries and going, this, I need a cutoff. I need some space. I have to be able to walk away from this and refresh my mind. And that's not selfish at all. It's very necessary because some people will keep pulling and keep pulling and they'll be texting you at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, wanting an answer right then and there because they're still up working and they just don't get you. You have to have boundaries in place. That's what makes it necessary and not selfish, in my opinion.
So I actually do have those clients who text me at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1.
Yeah.
But I do establish a boundary of, hey, at this time, my phone is going to go off. At this time, if I don't answer back, I'm probably spending time with my family. So yes, definitely establishing that boundary is extremely important.
Yeah. So ignoring self-care does have a price. So let's talk about that. So
All
what
right.
are
So don't ask my question. All right. Oh girl, okay. What's the cost for entrepreneurs who neglect wellness?
There's this saying that goes, if you don't, it's something along the lines of, don't let me misquote it, but if you don't take the time to take care of your body now, your body will force you to take care of it later. So that's one of the biggest costs for entrepreneurs to neglect wellness. And it's easy to do, right? Because a lot of times when you're an entrepreneur, if you're not making a certain amount of money, you can't afford healthcare, or you got the bare minimum of healthcare. Or if you're not running your business on a daily basis, if you're not doing it, it won't get done. So that means that's one day that you're going to like halt progress if you got to go to the doctor or be in the hospital for a while. So if you don't take care of yourself, your body will force you to take care of. It's kind of like a check engine light that you don't go get checked out right away. And then your car overheats and shut down, and now you don't have a working car at all. Your body's the same way. That's the biggest cost of neglecting your wellness is your body just stops and forces you to pay attention to it. And then you can't do anything for anybody.
Yeah, well, and I can attest to that. And it's crazy. We're in this situation right now where I'm noticing a lot of things kind of coming my way, right? Not just business
Mhm.
wise, even just personal things. And I had to remind my kids the other day, like, hey, I really have to think about this, because in 2023, leading to 2024, I was out. But then when I remember why I was out because I was working, I was in school, I was tending to a husband, I was tending to kids, I was doing all of these different things. And I really did not have time to focus on what me looked like. So then I ended up in the hospital. And then when I ended up in the hospital, then there was nobody who could take care of me, right? So if I would have just took the time to take care of myself, saying, okay, I got you guys, but I also have to make sure there's time for me, then I wouldn't have gotten that situation. So now being encountered in that situation, I feel like God's trying to like just be like, hey, so you saw it once. Do I have to reteach this lesson? Nah, God, I'm good. Like, I'm realizing it before he even has a chance to, like, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm not going to allow myself to be in that situation. So I'm going to set limits, and I'm still going to love the people who are needing me, but I'm going to do it in a way that I can show up for them and show up for them the right way, because I'm going to be okay too. So
absolutely. So what are 2 to 3 realistic ways to build wellness into a packed schedule? Because you have a pretty packed schedule all the time. So how are you building that into your schedule?
So I would say the first thing, and we actually talked about this recently, that I even told you in Ariel, because you guys don't have a schedule, right? Like, and I don't have a schedule. So it's just saying, hey, I'm going to make myself a schedule. I'm going to say I'm working from this time in the morning to this time in the afternoon. And when that time is over, I'm not working. Like, I'm going to, unless it's an emergency or it's something I just really have to do, or I choose to do it, I'm not working. I'm setting that time and saying that on the weekend is the weekend. Like, I even think I told you recently, don't get this client in the habit of you messaging at a certain time or on the weekends, because then that client will expect it. So there's just like that piece of just saying like, hey, this is a hard boundary. And this boundary is, these are my times, right? And then making yourself stick to them, like saying, well, even if you got to set an alarm, like making sure that you set a schedule, stick to that schedule, create the habit, and then you realize how good it feels, to the point that you won't allow yourself to now build around it. Because this is the thing. If it's something that has to be done, whether you get it done today or tomorrow, it's still gonna have to be done, right? Like, it's going to get done when it's meant to be done. If it's not meant to be done right now, then unfortunately it's not going to be done right now. Now, that doesn't mean slack, right? Because I always have to say that. It doesn't mean slack. But what it means is, hey, like, I did the best of what I can do today. And then now everything else is going to have to wait. Miss Beautiful Nadia said this in one of our episodes. She makes her non-negotiable 5 things. And then as long as she accomplishes those 5 things, then she's accomplished for the day. Anything else can wait. And that's how we kind of like set our mind in that type of mind frame. So what about you?
Absolutely. I agree with all of that. I'm learning. I am actively learning now, because it's easy for me sometimes to be like, well, I'm up, or well, I saw the message, and it's so easy to just grab my computer and just do it real quick. But I'm learning that, like you said, if you start crossing that boundary and letting other people cross that boundary, they'll just expect it from you no matter what. And you can't get into the habit of doing it. Otherwise, you'll never be able to make time for yourself. So yeah, you have to find ways to build it into your schedule no matter what. By any means necessary, you have to prioritize yourself the same way you prioritize work, the same way you prioritize family. Put yourself high up on that list as well.
Absolutely. You got to be first. I hate to say it that way, but you do got to be first. So that way you can even have anybody come after you. Yeah. So with that being said, with our self-care CEO talk, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to dive back into how you can spot burnout in order to prevent not taking care of yourself.
Congratulations. You're a home-based business owner. Freedom, flexibility, and your living room is HQ. It's the dream, right? But just because you work from home doesn't mean the world should know it. Your home address doesn't belong on business registrations, public records, or client invoices. At Rich Innovations, we protect your business and your privacy with our virtual mailbox services. Get a real business address, secure mail handling and digital access without ever leaving home. Separate your personal life from your business. Stay compliant, look professional, and protect your home and your brand. Your address matters. Sign up for your virtual mailbox today.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. We are talking about spotting burnout. So often we don't see burnout until it's too late. So how does burnout show up in ways leaders miss until it's too late?
So how does burnout show up? So I feel like I don't even really know how to fully answer this question. I know for me, I tend to be one, and I can just take this as a personal question. I tend to be one who will work and work and work, and I won't really feel it. But then in other areas of my life, things will stack up, right?
Mhm.
Like, I know I got to do these things for my kids, but I'm so engulfed into work because I'm a workaholic, right? Or I know I need to do these things for myself, or I'm noticing like my house is not exactly where I would like it to be, or it's way further away than what I would like it to be, because I'm putting too much time into things. Then I'll also notice that, which is crazy. So it can go both ways. I'll be extremely tired, but then I also will not be able to sleep. So, and part of that is just me not really taking care of myself. So when you notice patterns of things that don't seem healthy, like you're not eating or you're not sleeping correctly, whether it's too long or not enough, like
Mhm.
those type of things, then you question like what's going on. Like, am I making time to actually make sure that I'm not just eating, but I'm planning the right kind of meals? And if I'm not making time, I need to start making time. Am I making time? Am I missing every show that's coming on, like that people are talking about, if you're a TV watcher? Because I'm spending too much time doing everything else. Like,
Right.
when is the last time I took a minute to just take a bath instead of a shower, or to wash my face with like, and put on a face mask and stuff? So when you start realizing like, hey, like, and as women, we tend to do it a lot, but men probably do too. You start to realize like, man, I haven't really done anything for me. Like, I haven't
Yeah.
done anything at all for me, because it's so easy to concentrate on work. And if you start hearing yourself all the time, like talk about work and only work, or other things in your life, and nothing about anything you've done for yourself, you realize you're doing too much for everybody and everything else, and you're
Mhm.
not spending time considering what you need to do for you.
Yeah.
So just little subtle things, right? So what about you? How do you think leaders can, like, how it can show up?
Well, this is kind of personal for me too, because as we know, I'm a Cancer, so I'm very emotional sometimes. But for me, it shows up as resentment. It can show up as anger. It can show up
I'm
as
glad you
crying.
said that. I'm sorry, because I feel I do that too.
Yeah, because then it becomes like I'm doing all this and nobody's helping me. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody else is contributing. I'm carrying all the weight. It's too heavy to carry. Things like that. It's all on my back. Why is nobody else being asked the same that I'm doing? And that's just not in work. That's in personal life as well. We've been single mothers. I've went through the whole thing of why is it always on me to take care of these kids? Like nobody else is helping. Dad's not here. This, that, and the other. It shows up in those emotional ways as well. Those late nights where you're just up crying because it's just too much for you to carry. So for me, those are the ways that it shows up the most. That's how I know that I've not taken any time for myself. I've not decompressed in a while. I've not just stepped back from everything for a while to just tend to myself and what I need. And I've been too involved in what everybody else needs.
Yeah, it's crazy that you said that, because I didn't even think about that until just till you started saying. I was like, yeah, man, I feel like I've been going through that anyway. Just out of nowhere, I'll be like putting something up, and I'm a music person. I love
Mhm.
music, and generally I can listen to any kind of music, and it's not gonna like it's not gonna affect me other than me liking the song. Lately, almost every song. I mean, and that's why I don't know if y'all noticed in the office I've been listening to jazz, because I'm like, at least
Uh-huh.
jazz, there's no lyrics. Nah, I'm listening to the melody, and the melody's still making me feel away. Oh,
Let me
this
find
sounds
out
like
you've
a
been in
love
there
song.
crying.
Does that make me start talking about, well, why? You know what? And I'm not even going to that. so, how do you release the guilt of taking time off when work is piling up?
I mean, that's a hard one, right? Because especially, if it's your business or a business you care about, you're obviously going to feel when things are piling up, you're going to feel bad for stepping away. But I mean, it's necessary. I mean, like we said before, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give if there's nothing left to give. So I mean, I guess a way to release that guilt is by taking the steps before things pile up to make sure you're honoring yourself. That way, when you have to be in the trenches, you can be in the trenches and not feel bad for having to step away or your body forcing you to step away. If you plan that time ahead of time, you ain't got to worry about, okay, now everything's at a limit and now I can't do anything and I got to step away.
So I'm going to say you either can feel guilty now or feel guilty later. So and I'll use an example, like when I got sick. When I got sick, at that point, I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So now, because I can't do anything, I feel like, and it's stuff that I can control. If I feel guilty now, and I can pick, I'm gonna feel guilty for a day if that's what it means, and I'm gonna just take a rest day. But when I got sick, I was 5 months out. So I didn't have a choice. So
Mhm.
it's either I can feel guilty now and take time so that way I can make sure everything is good moving forward, or my body, like you said earlier, is going to make me take the break. And
Yeah,
then when my body makes me take the break,
you can't
I'm still
control it.
guilty. That's
Yeah,
not going to take away the guilty feeling. If anything, now you feel guilty and helpless. People are still going to need you. Stuff is still going to need to get done. Stuff doesn't stop because you get sick. So now you just feel even more guilty. So feel guilty while you actually have that moment to control it, if that's how you're
mhm.
going to feel. And eventually, hopefully, you just won't feel guilty anymore. But
Absolutely,
don't allow your body to force you to now have to stop. And now you can't help the fact that stuff still has to be taken care of. So,
absolutely.
so let's finish with how leaders can set the tone for healthy teams. How can leaders model wellness without seeming disconnected?
Well, I mean, I think if they make it a part of their culture, if they honor it not just for themselves, but they expect it from their teams, right? Just like last week when I had to be off, and you were like, "Girl, take a day." If you make that a part of your culture of we're all human first and foremost, people first. Everybody needs time to rest and disconnect. There shouldn't be where people are literally going all year and don't take a day off at all. Don't take a time to step away. Don't use any of their PTO, which I get the idea of. I want to save it for the holidays. I completely get that, but you still need days to just step away from the wheel and just rest and decompress your mind. Everybody needs to take a personal day before the end of the year because that's a lot piling up on you. So if you make that a part of your culture of no, we want you to rest, we encourage you to rest so you can give us your best. I think that's the best way you can do it without seeing, because a lot of people don't care. As long as you're there, I've had a boss before who were like, I'd have missed wedding anniversaries, kids' birthdays, kids' births, like all that type of stuff, so I can make sure I was at work. And you're proud of that? You're proud to tell your family, I'm not doing it because I'm at work and your company's still failing? Make that
Mhm.
sense. So
Mhm.
no, you don't allow that for yourself and you don't allow that for your team. You show them that you value them as people first and that you understand they need time away to rest and disconnect. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it does start with because I think a lot of people. So you have two different type of people. You have the people who just take time, and we have a client who has people in who just take it just to be taking it, right?
Mhm.
But then you have people who actually do care about the company, and they shouldn't be made to feel guilty because they have to take time. So
Right.
if you are a good company, you're going to have stuff set up so that way if a person misses, that you still can run the business. And if you
Mhm.
don't, contact us. We're solutions architects. A-Rich Innovations, www.arichinnovations.com, because we need to help you set that up. There should be no situation where someone can't take a break because there's no one to cover for them, right? You should always have a backup to a backup.
Mhm.
So I feel like I agree. You need to, as the leader, set the standard that says, yes, you need to rest because that's how you show up for me. What I don't like are leaders who take a bunch of time but then complain when their team takes time.
Mhm.
No. Like, no, your team is going to be healthy when they physically can take a minute to step away. And generally, they're going to be inspired and they're going to come back with something better. So, when you have rock star teammates and people who actually care about the company, you want to care about them too. I always say, like, it sucks when you have, like, I'm going to take care of you as an employee, but
Mhm.
then I can't trust that you're going to take care of me. So, and I'm talking about employee to leader. So
Mhm.
you do need to be a leader who cares about the well-being, not just how much work they do for you, but the well-being of your team. And that's how you're going to get the most out of them. That's how you're going to get the buy-in, because you care about them
Yeah.
instead of just caring about what they do for your company. Because we all know once that person can no longer work, you're just going to replace them,
Yeah.
right? So make them feel just as valued as you want them to do for you.
Yeah.
So absolutely, that's how
And
I
I've
feel.
seen, leaders who actually care about the team, who actually make the steps. If they're like, I know I'm gonna take like a week off or even 2 or 3 days, they're putting systems in place to where people still have the answers, still have things they need. They're looking ahead to make sure things are going to be okay in my absence. If you already set that culture of, I trust you, I empower you, I want you to rest and take care of you, like you said, your team is going to take care of you. So then you ain't even
Right,
got to worry about their team while they're not there. You ain't got to
right,
stress about, am I going to have to step in when they're not? Because no, they put things in place where the team's going to run even if I'm not here. You ain't even got to worry about my team.
right.
So if your team is just like BSing and not getting stuff done when the leader takes a day off, that's a management issue.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
starts from the top down.
it does.
So what's one self-care shift that listeners can make this week for immediate impact?
So sometimes when we're sitting here talking on the phone, we're personally talking about clients that we're. I felt that.
Oh, don't say
that. No, we love our clients. We love them. But anyway, if people didn't have these issues, we wouldn't have a job. So, I mean, just to say that. But anyway, one self-care shift that listeners can make this week for immediate impact. Just like you schedule dinner for the night, or you schedule a date with your loved one, or you schedule a vacation, schedule your self-care time. There's a such thing as time blocking. Even just saying during this time block, I am going to lay my head down. I am going to watch a TV show. I am going to not be bothered. Like I've even had to tell my kids before, like, hey, don't ask me no questions. Just give me about 30 minutes. Because I mean, whatever, unless it's an emergency, you're bleeding out, just give me a minute, because everything that you ask me at this moment, I'm going to get upset because I don't want to be bothered right now. Right. Like, and it's okay to take a minute to just like, but schedule it. Like if you're not one who it's easy to just take time, schedule it. Or I'm gonna tell you, work out for 6 hours, because yesterday I couldn't pick my What is one self-care shift that you want to give listeners that they can make for immediate impact?
Once you get consistent with boundaries for yourself, you will find it easier to be consistent with the boundaries you set for other people. So whether that boundary is I'm going to work out, or I'm going to meditate, or something you're going to do, be consistent with yourself first. And then you'll find it easier to be consistent with other people, whether that's boundaries you make, commitments you make to yourself, commitments you take to other people. Just be consistent with yourself first. That's something you can start doing this week. You can start being consistent with yourself. If you say, I'm not going to drink no more alcohol for the rest of the week, don't drink no more alcohol for the rest of the week. Yeah. Like make a promise to yourself and keep it right now. Something you want to change, something you want to do, stop working at a certain time, whatever. Just make one promise to yourself that you're going to do this week and then honor it. And as you stay more consistent, people say consistency is key. It's not just a cute saying you put on a t-shirt. It really does matter. We always talk about being consistent for at least 21 days. Just do it this week and you'll feel better about yourself, because your mom will be like, oh shit, oh crap. I said I was going to do it and I did it. And then once you do it, it's like, okay, set another one. Now do it with somebody else though. You made one to yourself and kept it. Now do it with work. Say you're not going to work after 6 o'clock, and then don't work after 6 o'clock, no matter what it is.
We said we were going to work out. We're going to work out again today. Jesus. And we got to get up tomorrow and go work out.
Oh, that's true.
It's true. Okay. So we're going to leave you with some closing words. Mine is self-care is not indulgence. It's infrastructure.
Absolutely. And mine is the stronger you are, the stronger everything you lead will be.
Absolutely. So that wraps up this episode of Sessions with Coach April and Cass. We will see you next week. Remember, we're actually doing reruns every other week starting last week. So you guys will see our new episodes every other week moving forward. But we'll see you next time with Sessions with Coach April.